The Kenyan president and his deputy have announced they are taking a 20% pay cut in line with the recently announced austerity measures to trim government spending. The austerity measures will also see cabinet secretaries take a 10% pay cut. The Kenyan government also announced a raft of measures to rationalize public expenditure. A ballooning civil service wage bill and an ever-expanding budget deficit has been a major cause of concern for the country's policymakers and bilateral lenders, such as the International Monetary Fund. The country's Salaries and Remuneration Commission recently described the wage bill, currently at 12.1% of the gross domestic product, as unsustainable and worrying. Let's get more now on this salary reduction by the Kenyan president and his deputy. I'm joined here in studios by John Nderi, manager in charge of corporate finance and advisory services at ABC Capital here in Kenya. Thank you very much for joining us here on Africa Live. What's your take on the president's view that he's going to take a salary cut?
Well, we've been calling for a long time that the government spending is too large. He's rightly said that we've been running an unsustainable budget deficit, and been doing that for probably 4 or 5 years. It's now becoming a bit worrying. I think it's a first step. I mean, if you're a president and you are going to implement austerity measures, right, it helps that you even yourself for symbolically at least to cut part of your spending. I mean, and of course, I just hope that everybody else takes it as stride, because the whole message is that nobody is supposed to be above the austerity measures. All right, but it is 20% pay cut for him and his deputy, and probably perhaps 10% for cabinet secretaries. What impact will this have, though, on government bills and wages? Negligible. Like I said, it's merely symbolic. It would have helped if they would have cut also part of the allowances. Those also form a huge part of the salaries and packages, and of course the juniors will look at that and ask tough questions. So they should be prepared for that, but at least it's a first step. Let's hope that we'll see more of that, because I think that tax spending that will be required to keep government numbers balanced are taking their toll on the private sector as well. All right, but from time to time, though, African governments tend to announce that they are going to take salary cuts, and I mean, take the example of Malawi as well, where the president implemented some austerity measures there as well. Some say this is probably just a public relations exercise, because the allowances are still quite as high. That's true, and I did mention allowances, and not just that. Don't even go as far as Malawi. We had the initiative where government officials are not supposed to drive vehicles above 2,000 cc's. We still see vehicles with much bigger engines than that, and not just at national government level, but also at county government level. So all this adds up. It adds up, and it takes a toll on private sector, which really is the driver of the economy. If we are going to go forward, and if we're going to have a sustainable economy, we need to start looking at private sector and what taxation is doing to that. And because austerity measures on their own don't boost the economy, it just postpones. What needs to be done alongside the austerity measures is a reduction in taxation, so that we can get the economy going up and running again. All right, but Kenya does have a Salaries and Remuneration Commission. What's been its role here, though, or is this just a case of whipping up emotion for the public? Well, I was disappointed when they were bullied. The members of parliament were able to bully them into accepting higher rates, and that was a concern for me, because then that will naturally cascade down, and then you started seeing a lot of industrial action coming through, with everybody asking for a pay rise because the MPs got theirs. Right. And it becomes hard to justify why they can't get when you've given the MPs already. So yeah, it cascades. You've got the teachers now, you've got the doctors, and they're not just asking for higher salaries and wages, they're asking also for increased hiring. So you can imagine what that means for the rest of us taxpayers in the private sector. All right.
John Nderi. We will leave it there for the moment. Manager in charge of Corporate Finance and Advisory Services at ABC Capital. Thank you for joining us here on